4, 3, 2, 1.
Tower.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Hey guys, welcome back. I haven't been here in a really long time, and I'm home.
We haven't been here in a long time. That is correct. Sorry for the delay, as we are having a very interesting technical situation as we are getting back up and moving, but no worries. We have everything handled for you guys. So to describe what we are doing tonight we are talking about the next set in Magic the Gathering.
Kaldheim.
Yes. Kaldheim. And we have audio, as my computer now tells me. Yay! But yes, Kaldheim, for those who aren't quite aware, is a Magic the Gathering set fully devoted to the Viking storyline. Loki has a printing. Odin has a print. There's boats. There's
Loki,
so many boats.
I don't know who Loki. I think you mean
Tybalt?
Tybalt. That's right, Tybalt.
The little trickster from Innistrad himself.
Yeah, dude, we've been back for like a minute and a half, and I've already slammed my long legs on the table. So, sorry for the headphone users.
I'm sorry. But yes, as a thank you to everyone for tuning in, that Tower TV coupon code is still going. And we will be talking about all the items you can pre-order for this weekend's pre-release. And so that code is Tower TV, TOWERTNV.
So what does that get you?
That gets you $5 off any order of $5 or more on our website.
Pretty cool. Sounds like a good deal.
It is a pretty good deal.
I might have to go get $5 off some Kaldheim.
I'm going to have to go get $5 off some pre-release packs or that pre-release home package.
Home package? What's
Home
that?
package. That home package is pretty much our attempt here at Tower of Games to encourage people to start playing at home, because we aren't able to open the stores at the moment here, but we are still working on it for you guys. But we have not forgotten anybody. I promise we have not forgotten. And so pretty much what we have compiled is a pre-release, take-home package. Thank you. I get excited. I'm sorry.
We have a nice, hour and a half window to fill. We can take our time here today.
It's like, slow down, Chiefy. But yes, pretty much what comes inside it is going to be 4 Kaldheim pre-release kits. And so in case anyone may be a little bit newer to the game, a pre-release kit is pretty much like a little box, and inside this little box you have about
five
or six. I think, yeah,
One of the two.
Yeah, 5 or 6 booster packs.
I think it's actually 6.
6? We'll go with that. Like 6 booster packs, and so each of those booster packs is the regular assortment of a draft booster. So it has the common slots, uncommon slots, and the rare/mythic slot. And then
I believe with this right now they should be getting 8 additional draft booster packs to accommodate for the prize support.
Yep.
Because we can't really, like you mentioned, we can't host tournaments, but just because, hosting is dead doesn't mean Friday Night Magic is.
Yeah, Friday Night Magic will endure always.
Plus, there always is the Magic Arena.
That's true.
Which we do send out our codes for every Friday.
We do send out our codes every Friday for Friday Night Magic. And then we're also having the ability to send out 3 regular promo packs from recent sets.
Huh. Which sets?
We have a few, actually, but instead of just sitting here babbling about it, let's actually show you guys, because I have a lot of packs left over from all the events.
I know a guy who really likes this set.
I know a guy who
He's a huge fan. He loves Ikoria.
He loves Ikoria. But yeah, I've got promo packs from Ikoria. I've got Theros Beyond Death right here. I've got Zendikar Rising.
Zendikar Rising promo pack.
This is a full bag of Zendikar Rising promos.
Wow.
It's a big boy.
Man, now we're just showing everyone how much special goodies we have.
Absolutely.
that normally aren't available.
We want to help get these things out because there's so much cool stuff in these promos.
Don't worry, we're not allowed to just open them either.
I know. But even so, we have more. We have more. As there are also the Kaldheim promo packs that are in, and they are gorgeous. One for you and one for me. Yeah.
I'm not sure if...
I don't know if you guys can see it, but these things look so good. They have that frosty, ice look on them, and even the Planeswalker symbol has, that Nordic runes on it.
It is a very nice, very nice promo pack.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that the...
I gotta take them out of our hands. I gotta take them out before we keep going.
I'm hoping I haven't seen the actual draft packs. I'm hoping that they are just as like gorgeous of a color.
Oh yeah.
My favorite right now are probably Theros and Eldraine. I love that like kind of like cyan, teal, and like purple is my favorite color. So
Yeah, this set is very heavy on like the purple and blue, because like the main forerunner for the characters in this set is honestly Kaya, which I was surprised to see when they were first starting the set. Because Kaya is like the ghost assassin. She's also responsible for the death of King Brago. Poor guy. But she is the ghost assassin. And so she had her first appearance in Conspiracy. She made a little bit of a comeback for Ravnica Allegiance, the War of the Spark, as she is the one who also took down the Orzhov Ghost, the Obzadot Ghost Council, if I'm saying that right, but she's the one who took them down, and then now she's back in Kaldheim, and instead of her daggers, she has dual axes.
Oh, that's
like,
pretty tough.
Like, that's what she's doing. She's literally here, like, full braids and everything, just whoop, whoop.
Walking around like Kratos.
It's like, I'm coming for you. But yeah.
See, I know like nothing about Magic lore. I'm gonna be honest, I've never been that big of like a lore nerd, except for like Destiny.
That's fair. But you enjoy Destiny, so it makes sense.
I love Destiny. That is the greatest soundtrack ever. For anyone who hasn't listened to it.
Yep. But like even for tracking the story through these cards, you honestly get a lot of it through like a lot of the flavor text for it.
I definitely love flavor text.
Like how Loki in this set is Tybalt. Like to give a little bit of context for what that is, I could actually have the card pulled up. Because the actual card itself is named Valky, God of Lies.
I haven't seen the picture for it.
Yeah, it's right here. And so Valky is a black and 1 for a legendary creature god. He is a 2/1, and whenever he enters the battlefield, each opponent reveals their hand. For each opponent, exile a creature card they have revealed this way until Valky leaves the battlefield. And then his activate ability is to pay X. You choose a creature card, exiled with Valky, with converted mana cost X, and then Valky becomes a copy of that card.
Yeah. So, copies. Did you see the, where is it? Hold on. I had it, saved. Orvar, the all form?
Oh, the, changeling dude?
Yeah, I don't mean to, like, completely hop off of, Loki right there, but Orval, the all form, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more other permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. And if a spell or ability an opponent controls would make you discard Orvar, you can still copy a permanent you control. So that is
a permanent. Doesn't even have to be you control. You just copy a permanent.
Oh, is it a permanent?
You just a copy of target permanent.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's insane. Like, that's insane.
I'm not looking forward to it.
In addition to, like, Storm, that's insane.
Storm's like, oh, I have a bulk deck. How sad. I have like 2 or 3 value pieces. We're going to gigantic growth that. We're going to unsummon that, make a copy. Oh, I have mana left over. I'm going to recast that.
I'm going to copy that twice.
Oh, no, I don't have mana. I'm going to create 4 copies of Thran Dynamo by...
That is so...
by untapping target artifact.
Not looking forward to it.
Granted, that's also like high lane of like power level shenanigans. But that's what I've come to expect.
I kind of want to put it in my, I want to put it in my Yarick.
Don't do that to Yarick.
Just to make copies of, like, my creature tokens.
Oh, please. We all know you're talking about Agent of Treachery.
It's true. I'm not even going to front. I love that card.
It's like, oh, you're doing scary things. I'm going to cast a Gigantic Growth. I'm going to copy Agent of Treachery. I'm going to make a copy of Agent of Treachery. Please give me that combo piece.
Yeah, that's usually how that goes.
It's all good, but honestly, we're talking about a set about Vikings. Who does not love a creature who literally devours the table? And he's the biggest, fluffiest doggo there is, and I love him. But he's so mean. And so this is Sarulf the Realm Eater.
Sarulf. What colors?
Sarulf, he is Golgari. So he is green, black, and 1 for a 3/3 legendary creature wolf. And he is only a rare. And so as far as the rarity goes, a lot of these rare creatures you can kind of expect in like almost not every other pack, but a lot more regular than the mythic rares, of course.
Right.
So you have a very good chance of getting this creature, and I fully expect him to do work in any limited circle. Because a lot of your value pieces are going to be lower CMC creatures. Because, like, if you're sitting there trying to pump out, like, 4 or 5 drop creatures, it's a bad day.
Right,
It's a
definitely.
bad day. But Sarulf, whenever a permanent an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Sarulf, the Realm Eater. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Sarulf has one or more +1/+1 counters on it, you may remove all of them. If you do, exile each other non-land permanent with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of counters removed this way.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That hurts. And so it's like, if your opponents don't have any sack outlet on board, you just clear the table repeatedly.
Are there any, like, crazy cards, like, price-wise right now?
Crazy cards price-wise, that would be the Phyrexian printing for Vorinclex.
Oh my goodness, that art looks amazing.
Oh yeah. And so something they're doing in this set is that they do have the traditional, well, not traditional, it's newer because of Dominaria, but they are still keeping the legendary borders, like the little wavy lines up top. But something that they are adding for the Viking theme is that pretty much what they are doing is that they're having a set that is pretty much sculpted in a Nordic rune situation. And the way that they're able to kind of handle it is that it's more of a frame. So, like, you know, like in like Viking depictions, you always have like that wooden door frame that has like all the runes and etchings in it. Yeah, that's what they're doing for a lot of these like alt arts.
Yeah.
But for Vorinclex, he has one card that is completely in English. It is expected to be rolling out for about $40 at the moment. He has an entire card written in Phyrexian.
What?
He has an entire card written in Phyrexian with an alternate border.
That is sick.
So we're probably going to have somebody walking around who's fluent in Phyrexian now.
I'm going to have to learn Phyrexian.
For the machine, father.
What do you imagine it sounds like?
Would binary be a bad way of phrasing it?
Binary.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, 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 boop.
I mean, I think that wouldn't the beeps be Morse?
Isn't binary just ones and zeros?
Yeah, binary is ones and zeros, but I don't think it's really beeps,
Beep boops.
right? You know, like, I don't know. I don't think there's a sound for binary was my point.
Right. But his other printing is that same thing where it has that, like, Nordic rune etching. And so as far as what he actually does, he is a 6/6 trample haste creature for 2 green and 4 generic. And so if you would put one or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many on each of up to those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. And then his second ability is that if an opponent would put one or more counters on a permanent or player, they put half that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead, rounded down.
Oh, we missed comments. Like, definitely.
I think I pulled up right here. There's only one. Hi, Sweat!
Hi, Sweat!
Yay! Can I like it? Yay! I like that. I'm still learning how to handle this.
I gotta learn how to use Facebook.
That's basically how it is. But yeah, I am not looking forward to Vorinclex. Well, okay. I'm really looking forward to Vorinclex actually being able to, like, hit the table because I miss Phyrexia. One of my favorite cards to use. One of my favorite, like, keyword abilities to use is Infect. Because I mean...
You are. He is.
Honestly, for Vorinclex, I just love the artwork.
No, yeah, that is beautiful.
But the question arises then, because I have had a few discussions kind of float back and forth about how is Phyrexia back? Because as far as like where the story left off is that Phyrexia was locked on Mirrodin. Is that they weren't able to get out. But the Planeswalkers were able to leave because Phyrexia at the moment has no native Planeswalkers. But something they were able to do was actually make like portal gates where they could literally planeswalk via technology. So that's something that Phyrexia was able to do. And if Phyrexia was locked in on Mirrodin, how is the Voice of Hunger back?
Vorinclex is a planeswalker. His next printing is gonna be a planeswalker. That's really all it comes down to. Mark my words. In a year and 3 months, they are going to announce the Vorinclex Planeswalker printing.
Or would it be Jingataxis who has the Planeswalker?
No!
It will be Vorinclex! Vorinclex!
Vorinclex, Planeswalker of Hunger. That's it. That's it. Planeswalker of Hunger. Beautiful name.
Oh, sweet. We got some more viewers. Hey guys, so welcome to Tower TV with me and Tyler. For a bit of a recap, we are talking about the new release coming out for Kaldheim this weekend, and pre-orders are available on towerofgames.com. So feel free to stay tuned and chime in with deck ideas you may have had as we keep this train moving.
Now, there's been a lot of hype around the World Tree. The card that lets you pay 2 of any color to search your library for any number of gods and
put them directly into play.
But I'm gonna be honest, I really like it for the fact that if you have 6 or more lands, it lets you tap all of your lands for any color.
Yeah.
That is extremely useful, especially as someone who plays in Sultai. It means I have to worry less about preserving my islands for counter spells. I can just
you just
counter
tap
everything.
as you need to. It's like, I don't need to worry. I'm good.
I think the World Tree is going to be a phenomenal card, and I kind of want to make a god deck like everyone else in Magic right now. Everybody wants to make a god deck, and I think everyone should.
I mean, yeah, because honestly, the gods aren't that expensive anymore, because there was the Mystery Booster reprint of Perforos, God of the Forge, and after that reprint came out, Perforos isn't as expensive as it used to be.
Not at all. You can, I think you can still pick them up for like, I don't know,
like $20 almost.
Yeah, like 20. I think I saw it for as low as 18 the other day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a light play printing, but still.
Yeah, so like even for the World Tree, the card itself is not an enchantment on its own, but most of the gods are. So like as far as the gods go, I think it was like first majorly introduced in Theros, because Theros is like the realm of ancient Greek mythology.
Yeah.
And so like you have Heliod, you have Erebos, you have Thassa, you have not Nissa, Nylea. You have all of these different like gods who are pretty much like the epitome of a certain concept. And then all of them are enchantments. Because the way that works in Fluff is that belief in that concept creates the god. That's kind of how that works for how they're doing it in Theros.
That makes sense.
And so for the World Tree, if you're playing some like orientation of like an enchantment deck, and then all of your creatures are like these heavy hitting god creatures, if you have all of your constellation pieces on the table, you just pop off Ramos the Dragon Engine, and you just search for your entire deck and put it on the table.
I mean, true. It would be really good to do, like, for an enchantment deck.
Oh, yeah, for an enchantment, or even if you have, like, a Conspiracy or something where you are able, or Adaptive, the Ixalan thing, the Ixalan card that literally, like, makes all of the creatures on your battlefield in your deck and your graveyard a certain creature type. Mm-hmm. You choose God. It's literally, where's all the creatures in my deck? Flip, 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 flip. And now you all of a sudden have all of the creatures from your deck onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
World Tree! But speaking of gods, I have to go to my favorite one. I have to go to my favorite one. So give me a second as I scroll through. And of course, if anyone has played me before, you already know that my favorite god is going to be the red one. Because red is beast. And it is the lovely man himself who is taking the place of Thor in this edition. Torolf, God of Fury. And so he is a 2 red and 2 generic for a 5/4 trample creature. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, so from your creatures, whenever they are dealt non-combat damage, Torolf deals damage equal to the excess to any target other than that permanent. And so you're basically able to just like shock things, do any kind of spell burn or whatnot, and then just keep the damage moving.
Right.
So
be great in Saskia. And it would there's also the green card that lets your death touch creatures give, I think, 2 poison counters every time they connect.
Oh yeah.
Every time they connect combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters.
Let's see, where is he?
That is Finn the Fangbearer. It is a 2-drop, 1 generic, 1 green, and it's a legendary human warrior.
And he's a 2-drop.
Yep.
Which is like a harken back to Glistener Elf.
And he's legendary, so he would be a great commander.
He is. He doesn't have partner, though.
Sadly. If he had partner, I would probably sell out of Magic, because that would be ridiculous.
It's like, no! Oh, man, that would be absolutely nuts. But,
what's up?
Like, even for that Death Touch dude, I'm very excited to see him hit, because now all of a sudden, like, a lot of the, like, just bulk cards for Death Touch, like all these little 1/1 flash Death Touch creatures, all these little, like, just 1-drop, 1/1 Death Touch creatures that aren't really scary by themselves, are now all of a sudden extremely horrifying. Because you have all of these quick 1-drop, 2-drop, 1-drop, 2-drop, 1-drop, 2-drop getting Infect on Connect, or at least poison counters. And poison counters, they have not made it yet to where you need like 15 or 20 to kill a player. You still only need 10. And so as far as like outpacing for ramp, assuming you have a general turn. So like turn 1, you're on curve, you play a swamp, not swamp, you play a forest, or like your Soul Ring, Wayfarer's Bauble, whatever, to ramp out a little bit. It's like, okay, cool. Turn 2, you play another land, and then you're able to get your commander on table. Seems solid. And then turn 3, I'm going to play 3 one-drop Death Touch creatures. You have 8 technical poison sources, or poison counter sources on the battlefield.
Yeah.
That's just like, if you had a general turn, no ramp, no shenanigans, no nothing. It's like, by turn 3, you could have about 8 infect on table. Ow.
It's pretty good.
Ow.
I like the, right here, pulled up, Righteous Valkyrie.
Ooh.
It is a flying angel cleric. It is a 2 generic, 1 white. And whenever another angel or cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to its toughness. And as long as you have 7 more life than your starting total, creatures you control get +2/+2. And that makes me want to get...
Cleric Tribal?
That makes me want to make an angel deck, because I already have Elish and I have like Sigarda, and I just kind of want to make like a big flying angel deck. But I'm probably not going to, because everyone does that. What is there to do there?
I mean, you could, but like even for Cleric Tribal, it's been expanding with these past few sets. Because like even in Zendikar Rising, there was that
party mechanic. Jeez.
Yeah, for the party mechanic, like for Cleric, there's
Cleric was in the party, right?
Yeah, Cleric is in party. It's one of the 4. And so like Ailey Eternal Pilgrim, as the lead of that deck, you now have black, white, Cleric Tribal. And the entire idea behind Ailey is that she's a sack outlet on herself, but she's also removal for any source if you have the life to pay for it. So, for the Mono Black Demon that came out of Zendikar Rising, you're just continuously keeping sources on standby, and even if they have like Persist or Undying or like something that brings them back, ow, you're just able to keep creatures bouncing back and forth for basically the entire game. And so I guess for Standard, would probably be very happy to see that. Granted, Ailey is not in Standard. She was printed in Oath of the Gatewatch. But for Standard,
I don't know what Standard is. I haven't heard that in a long, long time.
Standard is the most recent block. Currently going.
Okay.
Currently going from Guilds of Ravnica up to, Willikers Batman. Zendikar Rising.
Standard. I think it's coming back to me. Now I remember.
Well, like, even for Modern, she's only, what, a 3-drop? So, like, for 3-drop in Modern, you could keep that decently on curve, but the only thing is you need to be able to keep that momentum moving. Because something I've noticed for, like, each of the formats is that for Standard, it's, like, how the interactions of your cards are able to go together, because that is what will carry you through, like, turns 3, 4, and 5 to if the game continues.
I think you just described how to play Magic. It's all the interactions of the cards working together.
Well, you see, that's just how any card game works. But, like, specifically for Standard, that is what it's focused on. For, like, actually having the deck function.
Combos?
Well, yeah, combos is, again, anything through Magic. Yeah, this is really hard to describe fully.
I mean, like, I know... I think that card synergy is different than, like, combos, per se.
Right.
Like, Magic as a whole is filled with synergies, but when you're playing Standard, you want card A to fit in with B, C, and D all on turn 1 or 2. Like, it's very much like you're trying to combo out as fast as possible.
Like, you want the stars to align as best as you could help it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, for Modern, I've noticed that the decks kind of vary. Because, like, Modern is when you breach from, like, the more we're all on an even playing field to how have you built your deck to function.
Right.
Because Modern is still a constructed 60-card format, but it has everything from, like, 7th edition, I think it is, all the way to the newest stuff. And so I see a lot of Modern decks, they have, like, all of the best powerhouses from all of those editions. And so you have to answer the question of, like, how am I going to, like, keep pace with all of these, like, about to duke it out decks? And I guess, I don't know if I'd be able to, but, like, if you wanted to do, like, a persist kind of mechanic, I guess the only thing that probably would be able to, like, stop that continuous recursion for, like, Mikaeus the Unhallowed Reanimate or something, then would probably be, like, some sort of infinite damage source or infect.
I think containment Priest would, right?
Yeah,
Because
Containment
then you
Priest would
can't.
stop
You're
it.
not casting it; just returning to the battlefield, so it would just get exiled.
Exiled.
Boom! Containment Priest, 1-drop, combo over. Of
Isn't it
course,
2-drop?
you'd have to do that. I think Containment's 1.
2-drop flash. Okay.
Pretty sure it's 1.
Called out on stream.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's 1. It could be 2. I could be way wrong.
It's 2. Called out on stream.
Called out on stream.
Called out on stream.
It is me, the person who does not know
How much Containment Priest costs.
every converted mana cost in the entirety of Magic.
Nah, dude, you're good. I literally tell people all the time when they're looking for cards, because they come through, they start looking through some of our bulk boxes, and they're like, dude, you know this card, this card, this card, this card. I'm like, whoa. It's like, you're the Magic guy, right? I'm like, I'm good. I'm not infinite. Because, like, I always do my best to help out people whenever they do come to the store looking for cards, but, like, holy smokes. There's a lot, but back to the Vikings. Back to the Vikings. Honestly, I have to admit.
And Soul Warden.
Oh, Soul Warden? Soul Warden's good. But, like, for this set, I must be honest, my favorite thing about it is that I finally have a chance for sea monsters. I have an opportunity to build the sea monster deck of my dreams. And the creature that actually brought this on was Koma, the Cosmos Serpent.
What does that do?
He is a 2 blue, 2 blue. Well, not 2 blue. Gosh. Blue, blue, green, green, and 3 generic. I don't know where my brain was going. I need a nap.
2 blue, 2 blue.
So, blue, blue, green, green, and 3 generic. He is a 6/6 legendary serpent creature, and he cannot be countered. He has, like, no counter spells for me. And so at the beginning of each upkeep, yeah, he doesn't have hexproof. But at the beginning of each upkeep, create a 3/3 blue serpent creature token named Koma's Coil. And so at the beginning of each player's upkeep, if you're at a 4-player pod, every go-around, whenever it gets back to your turn, you will have 4 more tokens than you started. And each of those creatures are 3/3s. So, like, for the Death Touch creature, they're generally going to be small drops to kind of, like, capitalize on how fast you can get the deck moving. But for Koma, it is always generating creatures as long as this thing is alive.
And that's already good for things like Ashnod's Altar that would let you sack some of those tokens that you don't need. It's a time for mana.
I'm very good with sack outlets. But, another Sultai player. But pretty much you can sacrifice another serpent to choose one. You can tap target permanent. Its activated abilities can't be activated this turn. Or Koma Cosmos Serpent gains indestructible until end of turn. And all you have to do is sacrifice one of these coils that he's continuously making. And so, like, if you have some sort of doubling season effect, you can literally just start tapping down all of these power sources.
Oh, man. Yeah, that'd be kind of insane.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, even, let's see, it says permanent, right? Yeah, permanent. Like, you could force somebody, like, to use some of their lands if they have stuff for it. So, like, even for something like as powerful as Cabal Coffers, you just sacrifice a 3/3 Serpent token that you're making every turn to force them to use Cabal Coffers this turn, and if they don't, it's tapped down and they can't use it.
Right.
Or you could do that to, well, Soul Ring doesn't make sense, you just tap it anyways. But, like, what's the other one? What's the Theros Devotion land? Nykthos. The same thing also works for Nykthos, because, like, you pay 2, you get mana equal to your devotion. Granted, that's not as heavy as a Cabal Coffers, but it still does the work when it needs to. If you have all these tokens poking out, not tokens, but if you have all these, like, creatures poking out everywhere,
yeah,
it does the work.
For sure.
And so for Koma, it's like, I'm just going to sit pretty for, like, a turn or 2. I don't like that. I'm going to tap it down. I don't like that. I'm going to tap it down. Board wipe, I'm going to sack a thing. Keep my thing alive. I'm going to tap that down.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good.
And then Koma just sits there continuously accruing this. And, you know, I have to take a moment to admit, this is flashing back to an older video of ours when I was saying that I can't really imagine Brokos being a good commander for much of anything. I want to build Sultai sea monsters. And the only commander I can think of that would fit the theme is Brokos. This is me admitting that I will eat my words at some point.
I mean, you could always... You said you want to do Sultai?
Yes, Sultai sea monsters.
You could... Yarick is cool. I like Yarick. You could just be really, really, like, petty and do Kenrith just to get the 5 colors, but only use the 3.
Gosh.
Just be one of those
King Kenrith. Oh no, not King Kenrith. I'm not doing infinite mana.
I saw that they had the aura runes now.
Yes.
That let you enchant an artifact to essentially give the same thing that the creature would get. Or I'm sorry, I think it's equipment. Yeah, equipment artifact.
Yep.
I don't think there's a equipment that isn't an artifact, is there?
No, all equipments are artifacts.
Ha. But essentially, there's 4 that I saw. The white one is Rune of Sustenance, and it gives your creature lifelink. The other, the black is Rune of Mortality, gives your creature Death Touch. I think that makes sense. Rune of Might gives your creature +1 and trample. Sorry, +1/+1 and trample. And Rune of Speed gives your creature +1/+0 and haste. And they're all relatively cheap. They're all... Oh, and I closed out my pictures. Wow, look at me.
Nah.
They're all 2-drops.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not really... I don't think they're that good. I just thought it was interesting that you could enchant your equipment aura... I'm sorry, equipment artifact instead of the actual creature itself.
Yeah, because the idea behind them is that, like, as you are in these more limited formats, it may not be the best commander card necessarily, because we're used to, like, much higher powered stuff. But if you have, like, one of these artifact decks or something that is centric around equipments, like, if you have that key equipment you need to work, you are adding on to its list of abilities. So if you've played me before, like, you've played me a bunch of times, so you already know this, but one of my favorite equipments
I've never played this man.
Embercleave. I love Embercleave dearly.
He does love Embercleave, but
Because
Embercleave is pretty tough.
It's absolutely devastating. I need to rebuild Corvold. But Embercleave is pretty much an artifact that has flash, and then when it's equipped to a creature, it gives it +1/+1, double strike, and trample. That's enough damage by itself. But if you need to, like, re-equip it at a later point, and you are playing a multicolor deck, these runes are adding onto Embercleave. Or they're adding onto, like, Blade of Selves, or Sword of the Animist, or, like, any of these other different equipments that are your centerpieces. Because something else that did come out in this set is, like, a whole bunch of focus on dwarves. And so all of these dwarves are centric around, like, all of these different artifacts and equipments that you can use. Since, you know, they're little forgers. Hi-ho, it's off to work we go.
I'm going to make a dwarf tribal deck.
Honestly, you will not be alone in that. It's going to be Boros, though. You're making Boros dwarves.
Never mind. I'm not playing Boros. It's just not going to happen.
I refuse! Man, let's actually go into some of those dwarves now that I'm actually thinking about it. Because there was a...
Why not put the dwarves in Eldraine? Wouldn't that make more sense? Like,
there are dwarves in Eldraine. They're not, like, a whole... Well, okay. There are dwarves in Eldraine, but it's not, like, a massive amount. Because, like, Torbrand is a dwarf. He's a very angry dwarf. For very good... Torbrand and all of these dwarves in Kaldheim. I know that Boros is coming to Standard, and I'm excited. Hey!
You don't play Standard.
I know, but I'm excited to see some aggro in Standard.
As far as I'm aware, that is Standard, right? Like aggro. Like, I don't know. That's what Steve Porth uses on Arena to get him into, like, I think he got into, like, the top, like, 3% of players or something.
Yeah.
In, like, the Mythic Arena.
Aggro is definitely more
red
viable
goblins. So.
Goblins. Haha.
Yeah, dude. Man was playing like he was in 1998. I'm just telling you. No one plays goblins anymore, man. I love you, Steve.
We love you, bro. He's gonna come in next time and be like, uh-huh.
Yeah, he comes in all the time, and he tells me how much he doesn't love me.
Oh,
I know.
Don't worry, we always love you here, bud.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I can't find the dwarves right now, but I am coming across the one thing that has tricked me out this whole set, but still keeps true to equipments, so I will consider it relevant. The boat that steals lands. This was the first spoiler that I actually told Tyler when getting into the set, when it was first actually starting to get running. And so, I shall repeat the statement. A boat that steals lands.
I love it.
Allow me to describe. And so, for a lot of these cards, there are two sides to it. And so, pretty much the same concept that they use for Zendikar Rising, where, like, you have the front side that has a cast ability, but you also have the other side if you want it to be a land. For Kaldheim, you can use it for either the front side for, like, a creature variant, or you can use it for the flip side for a artifact, or, for Tybalt's case, a planeswalker variant. And so this is for Cosima, God of the Voyage, and her alternate art is literally ships with a dolphin. The dolphin is pretty cool. but it's kind of scary. It's a very scary dolphin.
A murder dolphin.
Murder dolphins. Wait, what she does is that at the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile Cosima, excuse me. If you do, it gains whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. If Cosima is exiled, you may put a voyage counter on it. If you don't, return Cosima to the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it and draw X cards, where X is the number of voyage counters on it. And so, even considering the standard conversation again, we are in the same standard block as Zendikar.
Yeah.
You have Zendikar, you have Landfall, and you have the ability to take lands away from your opponent on her flip side. Because her flip side is the Omen Keel. So for a blue and 1, you get a legendary artifact vehicle. Whenever a vehicle, whenever a vehicle you control does combat damage to a player, that player exiles that many cards from the top of their library. And you may play lands from among those cards for as long as they remain exiled. So that means you do not need Cosima or the Omen Keel on the battlefield to still get those lands. So even if your opponent has an answer to her the next turn, you still get those lands.
I always forget that.
That's what it looks like.
That vehicles are like a real thing. Like I think was it Kaladesh or Amonkhet that they
Amonkhet had them, but vehicles mainly came out in Kaladesh and Aether Revolt.
That's what I thought. And then that was it. So I always assumed that was just kind of like a thing that they were messing around with and wasn't really viable. But maybe it's viable now. Maybe I'll try making a vehicle deck. I'll be whipping to my victories.
Maybe that 8/6 choo-choo train common has a purpose now. Choo-choo.
yeah, dude. It's the
give me the lands.
You know the one dude from Rick and Morty?
Who?
Phantom Train or whatever.
Oh my Lord.
I don't know if that's his name. Phantom Train, Ghost Train. I don't know. Someone out there will know who I'm talking about, and they'll get the reference. And
somewhere out there. Yeah, that is the Omen Keel, and that is in blue.
Was that your attempt of avoiding copyright? Was that your attempt of avoiding copyright?
Quite possibly. It's all good. Yeah. So for this, like, even vehicle concept, if you wanted to build an artifact synergy deck, a lot of like inspire and improvise kind of things do not require the artifact to be active, quote unquote. You just need to like untap. You just need to tap an untapped artifact to get those benefits, or like even for mechanized production, you are just creating copies of artifacts. That is all you're doing. And so for these vehicles now become a method of either mana fixing or theoretically mana ramp if you are able to play additional lands. And so as you have all these dwarves and you are in red, you now have blue. So instead of is it like control or is it storm or whatnot, you have is it vehicles. And they're just booking it across the table. If nothing else, we might actually see a return of Jeskai colors. Jeskai colors being red, white, and blue. America colors.
But can you turn all your vehicles into gods and then bring all your gods into play? Do the vehicles offer rides to the world tree?
No. The vehicles do not offer rides to the world tree. We have the squirrel, though.
There is a squirrel.
We have a squirrel commander. Hold on. Give me a second while I find it. Do we have any comments?
Finally, I can put my squirrel's nest to use.
Squirrel's nest. Granted, it didn't need
Eleni
any help.
has a squirrel deck.
She does. This is true. Isn't it Golgari colors for squirrel deck?
I don't know. I've never played it. I always forget that squirrels are a thing until I look at my squirrel's nest and I think about how useless it is.
I mean, if you are able to like utilize Squirrel's Nest, I think it's Squirrel's Nest in Earthcraft, where like Earthcraft, you just tap an untapped creature you control to untap target land, and so you've just gone infinite with squirrels with like 2 cards in a forest.
Yeah, but then I would just Rakdos charm you, and you would just die. You're in Grixis. What are you gonna do?
That's why Rakdos is the funny one. Rakdos is red-black, and that is my favorite of the color combos and the guilds. Like, we have a Nolzur's mini for Rakdos Lord of Riots. I want to paint it so bad. Anyway.
When he made my Alesha Who Smiles at Death deck for like Secret Santa like way back when.
Yeah, I remember that.
Rakdos Charm was literally like the win securer because people, especially Nick, man, because that was back when Nick had this like really wild rat deck, and he was like, "Oh, dude, it's so cool because I can make infinite number of rat tokens, and then I'm just gonna swing them all at you." And I'm like, "Cool, you make infinite tokens, and I'm gonna make you take infinite damage." And he was playing mono black, so it's not like he could counter it or something. He just kind of sits there and dies.
It's like, I am the Rat Lord. I'm gonna do a little dancey dance and cast a spell.
Rat King is a weapon in Destiny. It's a sidearm. And its stats get way better the closer you are to other people who also have the Rat King equipped. It's really good for raids and really fun for the Crucible.
I learn something new every day. Back to squirrels. Man, we haven't done this in a while. We rabbit trail real bad. As I get nods off screen. But yeah. So for the squirrel, as far as a little bit of a story for the Norse mythology, I believe this is the squirrel that is bringing like news from the bottom of the tree to the very top of it. So it's like he's always running up and down the like world tree, just bringing news up and down.
Where did you get this? Like
knowledge?
Yes. How is that what you got out of? Like, where does it say that he's the one?
No, not on him. This is like just regular Norse mythology.
Oh, okay. I was like really confused.
It's like, where do you see that?
I do not know much about Norse mythology. I'm a generic person who likes the Greeks.
And Destiny. So how's that hunt for the PS5 going?
I play on PC. Thank you. How dare you say those words to me? Just kidding. I also am a PlayStation boy.
That's fair. But yeah, Toski, Bearer of Secrets, is actually a 4-drop. Oh. So he is a green and 3 generic for
he can't be countered.
Mm-hmm. For a 1/1, cannot be countered, indestructible. Toski, Bearer of Secrets, attacks each turn if able. He's a 1/1 indestructible. Okay. But whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card.
Man's a little tank.
He is a little tank. Put that in the Death Touch deck.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting like a little bit of plays and shenanigans and whatnot, have Toski, Bearer of Secrets, have a few of the Fang dude that gives the poison counters, and then just a whole bunch of 1/1s. So either they take poison and you draw a card, or things are about to die.
I sadly did not see anything in here so far that I think would make a good addition to my Yarick.
Well, it's because your Yarick's already fine-tuned.
I want more.
You want more.
I want it to be better.
But speaking of personal decks, there is a lovely number that my Muldrotha will be very happy to see. Because my main commander, for those who aren't too familiar with the card, is called Muldrotha the Gravetide. And so she is a 6/6 elemental avatar, I believe she is, from the set Dominaria. And so basically what she does is that she is Sultai, so green, blue, and black, because I don't think we've actually mentioned what the color combo is yet. She is green, blue, and black, and so during each of my turns, I can cast each of up to one permanent type I can play each of up to one permanent type from my graveyard. So I can play a land, a creature, artifact, enchantment, etc. And so that's what she allows me to do, but as a graveyard deck, I have a lot of versatility for what I can do. And long story short, the point of this small train of thought is that the It That Betrays creature has competition. Because It That Betrays is a Eldrazi creature that says whenever a
I hate
player...
Eldrazi.
Yeah.
Just throwing that in there.
Whenever a opponent sacrifices a permanent, lands included, the controller of It That Betrays gains control of it. And so, like, if someone is trying to sacrifice an Evolving Wilds or a Terramorphic Expanse to go search for a basic, It That Betrays triggers and they gain control of Evolving Wilds or Terramorphic Expanse.
I forgot that's what It That Betrays does. That is miserable. That is awful.
So,
jeez.
Here's Tergrid, God of Fright. She is a 4/5 with Menace for 2 black and 3 generic. Whenever a opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you may put that card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control.
That's pretty good.
She's only running for about $10 at pre-release. She is quite horrifying, but for her flip side, her artifact side, which is the lantern that she has, is that her lantern pretty much says it is able to give... Okay. For Tergrid's... English is hard! But for Tergrid, for casting the lantern side, she is a black and 3 generic for a legendary artifact, and so the first tap ability is that target player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. So it's kind of similar to the effect of Torment of Hailfire. Because, like, Torment of Hailfire is 2 black and X for a sorcery that says, repeat the following process X times, which is you lose 3 life unless you sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. So this does that, but it also has the ability of a green and 3 generic to untap Terragrid's Lantern. And so if you have the mana shenanigans that King Kenrith is known for some of like the CEDH pods, you're just able to go and then the whole table dies. Joyous musicals of skeletons.
That would be really good for anyone that will be playing against my Skullbriar deck in a few days after I, because I'm gonna throw in the card that puts counters on my creatures whenever players sacrifice, like creatures.
Yeah, this would be great for Skullbriar. This would be really good for Skullbriar.
And then I'm gonna put in the one, I can't think of the name. Is it Archfiend of Despair? That makes it so at the beginning of everyone's each player's or each opponent's end step, they pick 2 creatures they control
And sacrifice
the rest.
Yep.
So I'm constantly getting all those counters.
Yeah, I think it's a 5/4 flying demon from Fate Reforged.
That card, yeah, it is Fate. That card was one of my cards that I played in my really old modern deck when I first got into Magic.
Way back when.
Yeah, way back, like Shadows over Innistrad, like that block.
Way back when in my early days of Magic.
Although you've been playing a lot longer than me.
I've been playing for like 3 years. I started playing my senior year of high school.
Never mind. He's just been a lot more interested than I have been.
I was lonely, okay?
It's okay.
It's like, it's okay.
I don't really know what to say to that.
You're good.
At least you aren't now, I hope.
This is true. I have all of you wonderful guys on stream with us. Yay!
Poggers, dude. All of your little pog champs.
What?
You ever seen that video?
No.
Oh, it's like, come here, I guess you are my little pog champ or something like that.
I have no idea what that means.
I'll show you.
Okay. Well, yeah,
he knows what I'm talking about.
So have you seen the untap on a combat?
No.
Okay. So to add a little bit of context for this card is that in this set there's going to be a huge resurgence of snow and snow permanents, which hasn't really come back since Ice Age and Cold Snap. And so for all of your snow lands, they do have that like snow precursor, I guess you call it, like that snow keyword.
Yeah, some people use them to like get like mana doubling benefits while not letting anyone else.
Yeah, extra planar lens is what does
that one. Yeah.
I know things, I hope. Yeah, this is Yorn, God of Winter. And so he is 2 generic and a green for a 3/3 legendary snow creature, God. None of these guys are indestructible, by the way.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, none of these god creatures are indestructible.
That's a big change from Theros.
Yep, none of them are.
Some god you are, mortal.
I mean, he does the work. Because he is a 3/3, and so whenever he attacks, he doesn't have to hit, he doesn't have to kill anything. It's just whenever he's declared as an attacker, untap each snow permanent you control. That could be creatures, that could be lands, that could be artifacts. It could be literally anything. If it has snow in the word, Yorn just goes, and rewind. Whoop!
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what he does on his first side. For the flip side, he has Cauldring the Rhyme Staff. And so it is a blue and black artifact with 1 generic. And so you tap it, you may play target snow permanent card from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield tapped. Ow. And so for a little bit of context of how you can see this working, is that for, let's see. How would that work? I guess it could probably work with, what's the name? The Battle Bond creature. Not Elenda, that's the Duskgrows from Rivals.
Let's see that again real quick.
Yorn, God of Winter. What's the creature that whenever it attacks, you make warriors?
Like the 2?
The one, yeah, like the 2 tokens?
Yeah, it's like
2 warrior
tokens.
I need to find that creature.
I know what you're talking about, because I think it's just 2/1/1 human warriors.
Yep. Hold on. Battle Bond.
Just look up attack, create tokens.
But
Keywords.
this thing doesn't do that.
Gatherer does. Keywords, man.
I know Gatherer does. Let's see. Man, I really need to find this now. Hold on. Legendary. Boop.
Give us 5 minutes.
Give us 5 minutes while I go digging. Dig. 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 Najila, the Blade Blossom. That's what she's called. But yeah, so whenever Najila, the Blade Blossom is a commander from Battle Bond, which is a set that had a lot to do with like the arena type style, and so Commander Legends kind of took off of that like initial wave, I guess you would call it. So Najila the Blade Blossom is like aggro hard like CDH decks. And so whenever a warrior attacks, you may have its controller create a 1/1 white warrior creature token that is tapped and attacking, so you're getting that benefit. And then for Wooburg, so white, blue, black, red, green, untap all attacking creatures. They gain trample, lifelink, and haste until end of turn. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase.
She would be brutal with Crater Hoof Behemoth.
Yes, she would. But the idea of what normally goes in with her is something like Druid's Repository, where whenever a creature you control attacks, you put a charge counter on Druid's Repository, and then you empty out the mana from Druid's Repository to give yourself an additional combat step. Because all you need is 5 creatures, and then this deck's just gone infinite with combats.
Right.
But for Yorn, he does the exact same thing if you have him on the table. Because if you have the lands to continuously like be able to pay at least 5 mana, for Yorn, you just swing him with your warrior contingent, and now you have all of your snow lands dumping the 5 mana into Najila's activate ability, and now you have another way of just going wham, 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 wham. And then you just have combats for everybody.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's what that could potentially do. Oh gosh, my brain hurts. I'm so sorry for the wait. But yeah, that's him. Have you taken a look at some of the other Planeswalkers? Because I know we mentioned Tybalt.
The obvious answer is no, because I don't really look at spoilers. I only looked at some for this.
That's fair. You want to like keep your eye out for the like when the set's released.
I like opening boxes and seeing what's in the set.
I can respect that. But yeah, for one of the other Planeswalkers, I guess the
Wow,
main...
that art.
Oh yeah, art's great. But like for like the main, I guess not staple, but like the main draw for how they're like bringing some more characters into the set is Nico Eris. And so Nico Eris is an Azorius Planeswalker, so white, blue are their colors. And so this is their way of bringing a wider variety of the characters you can see, because I don't think they've really confirmed too much about the backstory yet, so they're able to really like get more from it, I guess you call it. I don't know. But when Nico Eris enters the battlefield, create X shard tokens. And so the shard tokens are able to be used for their activate abilities. And so the +1 is up to 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. And whenever that creature deals combat damage this turn, return it to its owner's hand. And so like if you're doing like sneaky combats, then you're able to do a lot more with that. And then the -1 is that Nico Eris deals 2 damage to target attached creature for each card you've drawn this turn. And then the -1 is to create a shard token. Let's see. I don't know what the shard tokens fully do though.
Well, yeah. Can we like Google that real quick? What is a shard token?
I don't know. I think it's just creating tokens. Because I don't see what they do. Nico! Nico! What do you do? Yeah, because there's no flip side for it.
MTG.
Let's see. Oh, okay. So their enchantments, it's on the activate ability for the card. I just need to read.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So you create X shard tokens, and their enchantments with, you pay 2 generic to sacrifice the enchantment to scry 1, then draw a card.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is a continuous source for effectively Opt, because Opt is scry 1 to draw a card. This is for 1 more mana. Just do it. Just do it all. You could help. You could help yourself 4 for mana. So that's actually extremely helpful. I love this name. Narfi.
Narfi.
Narfi. A lot of these are legendary creatures because we are Commander players. But if you guys have any comments or questions about other stuff in the set, feel free to let us know. We'll be happy to talk about it with you guys. We still have a little bit left on our time clock for the night. But Narfi the Betrayer King is a zombie wizard that also has an interaction with a lot of the snow permanents that you can get. So like zombies and snow creatures get a +1/+1 bonus from him.
Right.
And so he doesn't have any colors in his activate ability. He has snow, snow, snow.
Kaldheim. Sorry, I'm pulling up the cards again.
Very good. But yeah, that's Narfi's activate ability. Snow, snow, snow. That's it. But the snow mana can be paid with 1 mana from a snow source. So if you have these multicolored decks and you're trying to like save how you're kind of managing the mana, for Narfi, he just wants snow. That's it. He just wants to let it snow. That's all he wants to do.
See, well, no, never mind. I was gonna be like, well, you could just get I was trying to push World Tree again, but snow's not a color. You can't tap your land for snow. Right? You'd have to.
Yeah, it needs to be a snow permanent to produce snow mana. And so for
Whack.
this, yeah, it's like whack. But for this, you pay triple snow, so snow, 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 to return Narfi Betrayer King from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So he is a extremely good source for like a few of the beginner aristocrat decks, Because Wizards of the Coast has been really good in actually getting a lot of lesser rare creatures for Legendary, so that way people can actually get into Commander like right off the bat. So, like if you get a random booster pack or a set booster pack, you are able to have a increased chance of getting a Legendary creature that you can then build around.
Real
Commander
quick,
Legends did great at it. What's up?
You mentioned like getting into Commander decks. What are the getting into Commander? What are the Commander decks they have for this set?
See, I'm glad I have the responsible one.
I actually don't know this. But it's something that I want to know.
Oh yeah, no, the Commander decks of this set are actually looking really good. So there's Elf Tribal, which is something different for the set, is that Elf Tribal is going back into Golgari colors. The last time it did this, I think, was like Lorwyn. I think it was like Lorwyn, Shadowmoor, that area.
I'm going to be honest, I have absolutely zero attachment to elves.
You might want to start, because one of the best tribal card draws I have seen is in this deck. It's like Pact of the Serpent. It's a sorcery for black and 3 generic. You lose X life, and no, you just draw X cards, where X is the amount of creatures of a creature type that you control.
There's also the rare that says choose a creature type. All other creature types get -3/-3.
Which is something.
So I mean,
which is something. It's from Eldraine.
No, it's. They're printing it now, like it's.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a.
Oh.
Hold on, I have it. It is. Crippling Fear.
Oh.
Choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't the chosen type get -3/-3 until end of turn. Nice gruesome art of people fighting. Elves have been the probably most reliable tribe since the dawn of ever.
Basically.
And I will probably never be excited over anything elf related. I'm sorry.
Because every time you play a Commander deck, it's like, oh, there's Llanowar Elves. You play Mono Green, oh, there's Llanowar Tribe.
Literally,
there's this elf. There's Priest of Titania.
Elf. And for a really long time, when I first started getting into Commander, every game I played, somebody had Mono Green Elves. And I'm like, I'm sick of Elf Ball. I'm sick of Elf Ball. I'm sick of Elf Ball.
It's like, I can literally build a deck to counter Elf Ball.
It would take 2 seconds to go make an elf deck because of how much elf support is in Mad. Don't get me started.
We have unlocked the beginning.
What's the other one?
The other one is actually a Phantom Premonition. And so let me read the full effects of them.
Premonition is the intro song to Eminem's latest album. Well, latest kind of album, Music to be Murdered by.
Wow.
It's a good album, actually.
We are a family show.
My bad.
You're
I don't even
good,
know.
bro. But yeah, no, let's see. The type is weird. What's his full name? What's the full name?
I wish I could show you this man's setup right now. He actually is like zooming in on this like card kingdom. Like, oh look,
it's what I have. Okay, is there a comma? Oh, it's Ranar, not Ragnar. I'm good. But yeah, Ranar the Ever Watchful is a spirit warrior, and so it has a 2/3 flying vigilance. And so the first card you foretell each turn costs 0 to foretell.
Okay, so Gavi or Gavi.
And so Gave Guru of Spores?
No, Gavi. Cycler Girl.
Ah,
the one that lets you, the one they dropped in the Commander deck that lets you pay 0 to cycle instead of 0 to foretell. It's like the same thing.
Yes, but also not quite. Because for foretelling in this set, you're not discarding the card. It's almost like you're setting aside for later.
Yeah, and I know. I think foretell's a really weird mechanic. Because what do you like pay 2 to play it? No, that's morph up, right?
Yeah, morph is when you pay 2 to put it down. For the foretell cost, it depends on the card specifically, because some of them have different costs. I think it is, if I was reading some of them correctly. But so the first card you foretell each turn costs 0 to foretell. And when you exile one or more cards from your hand and or permanents from the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. And so for the Elf Commander deck, you're pretty much going to be keeping your emphasis on your board presence, because as you have everything on your board presence, then that's when you start doing the Elf Ball effects of You know exactly what's coming, but can you stop it?
I'm gonna use my Nissa, and I'm gonna bring all my forests onto the battlefield, and now they're all gonna be elves, and I'm gonna swing out.
Yay!
Elf ball.
Just elf ball. But yeah, for Renard, a lot of his attention is going to be on what is set aside for later. Because blue-white doesn't always have like the best sources for ramping out, and so that's one thing that this deck is going to have a little bit of trouble keeping up with from the elf ball or the elf deck, is that you have the ramp and the strength of the board presence from the green-black elf deck, and then you also, but you need to be able to have what you need either in hand or set aside as you get moving for later. But one thing I will note for Wizards, they've been doing a lot better with a lot of these pre-made commander decks as they're coming out. Because these decks are on pre-order on TowerOfGames.com for $19.99 a piece. And so they're only $20 decks, and they are ready to play out the box.
They are very good. The at least consistently, you good? At least consistently, they're pretty good. I like the Land's Wrath. That was a very solid landfall deck. The Sneak Attack is a very solid mill deck. It's very... Obviously, they're not the best because it's a budget, like, intro commander deck. Yeah. But for the actual cost, it is insane value.
Oh, yeah. And so, like, you already have, like, someone's brain over in, like, Wizards of the Coast who's just like, let us make something. Let us make a new thing. And so for these... Oh, jeez. Yeah, I just sit and I brew decks with people most times when they actually come in. But for these commander decks, when they're actually taken out of the box, they each have a specific theme. So, like, for a Land's Wrath, the idea is landfall value, or, like, landfall accruement, I guess you'd call it. And then for the Rogue deck, it is not only combat damage, but it's also mill. Mill being you take cards from the top of your library and you put it into your graveyard. For these decks, they're kind of keeping the same theme, where one is focused on board presence and the other is focused on, like, second-hand agendas. Well, like, you're kind of holding back a little bit, but you do have that game plan moving forward. So it'll be real interesting to see how they actually build out the decks.
The Sneak Attack Dimir mill deck, I played against it in a pod, and this homie kept attacking me. I think it might have been Logan. I don't know if you know Logan. I don't know how.
Maybe. I met him like once or twice.
He attacked me, and I think I only had to mill like 5 or 6 cards, but man, it sucked. So,
because then he just got all the value he needed, just like right then and there. It's like, all right, let's start having a party.
I apologize to everyone who has to play my mill deck because that's not fun.
It is not fun, but you know, it's what happens. You'll learn the game, or you could just play Elf Ball and then you're all of a sudden triggered.
So, you said Foretell. You said you play like a Foretell cost to cast it later?
Yeah, so you exile it, and then it has a secondary cost where you actually play the spell. So it sounds like I would rather just... No, because at that... Never mind, because when you do Morph Up, it's still a 2/2 creature until you morph it. Until you flip it,
which means it's still targetable. But if it's exiled, then no one can target it. I guess that's okay. It's
and
like
then you have it set aside for later.
Do you guys know the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse? Like, it's a surprise tool that will help us later.
Oh my lord.
That's what it reminds me of. I don't know if you guys are familiar with your meme knowledge, meme culture.
Not really. It's all good. But yeah, let's pull up the quick full
See, that's the issue. You're like the Magic GW like nerd heavy. I'm just here for pop references, man.
I'm just here for culture.
I'm here for what's the word I'm thinking of?
I'm just here for culture, man. Let's see.
Relatability, that's what it is.
So yeah, for Foretell, it has the cost for it. So during your turn, you may pay 2 generic mana and exile this card from your hand face down. So your opponents don't really get to know what it is. And so you cast it on a later turn, doesn't have to be yours, for its Foretell cost.
Oh,
but you still need to be able to like actually play the spell during that phase. So like if you're foretelling a sorcery, you can't be like, on your end step, boop.
On your end step, I Agent of Treachery.
No. But yeah, so for Foretell, since blue-white does suffer with mana ramp, Foretell costs are usually a little bit cheaper than the main one. And so like what I have pulled up right now is Alrund's Epiphany. And so by itself, it is a 2 blue and 5 generic spell. But when you foretell it, you spend 2 when you actually have it in hand to set it aside in exile. And then the foretell is 2 blue and 6. So only your so at that time, you're only saving 1 mana. But if you don't have a no hand size limit at that time, then you can set it aside and then just keep drawing cards, and you have this whole bank of spells ready to go.
Do you have to cast it at a different turn, or can you cast it in the same one? Because if
On
you combine that
turn.
with the that's unfortunate. Because then you can foretell, and then untap all your snow-covered permanents,
And then just do it.
and then do it.
And it does have to be on a later turn.
That's unfortunate and understandable.
I mean, I call that good wording, because I have to be honest.
Very much.
Some of the best people that I know who have like extreme reading comprehensions play Magic, because never before, except in a few of my old friends in my law school, are they actually worried about where the commas and the periods are placed. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten some benefits off of rereading a card once or twice and being like, wait a minute.
Wait, that period is 2 words later.
A comma changes everything. That's true. A comma changes everything.
Yes, a comma changes all things. All things are possible through grammar.
See, my kid is going to be really, really smart, because I'm going to teach him Magic while he's in the womb. I'm like, this card.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we are almost set to wrap up, because I think that's covered a solid bit of the discussions, honestly, because we got a lot of the planeswalkers, we got a good few of the creatures and the mechanics that we're actually looking at. I'm
going to be honest, I think a good way to tell when we are running out of things to talk about is
when it just keeps going.
Yeah, the more obscure things that I reference, it's like, all right, we're running out of things.
It's all good. We can just wrap up.
So let's see. We got the 2 new commander decks.
Yep, we have the 2 new commander decks on pre-order at Tower of Games for $19.99 a piece. You can also pre-order Kaldheim set booster displays.
What are set boosters?
So set boosters have a little bit of a different setup than the draft boosters, because draft boosters are the general couple bit of the common slot, couple bit for the uncommon, then a single rare or mythic slot with a foil possibly in the pack. For the set boosters are geared more towards collecting as opposed to playing out of the pack. Because when you're drafting, you are going to be at a pod of 5 or 6, maybe 10 or 12 people. And you're all going to be opening the packs, and then I know it's weird now that we're actually still in the midst of the COVID. So it's 12 people? Yeah. Are you insane?
Well, that's a lot of people in a close location, man.
And this wasn't an issue until everything started happening. And it's what have I been doing wrong all this time? But yeah, no. For these set boosters, they're geared more towards collecting, as you have a few more commons and uncommons, and you also have the potential for up to 4 rares in a set booster.
Quick little story about that. I bought 4 Zendikar Rising set boosters, pulled 2 Omnath Locus of Creations, and 5 Shadows Verdicts out of 4 set boosters packs. 5 Shadow Verdicts. Thank you, Wizards.
Thank you, Wizards of the Coast. But yeah, that is what's going to be coming for the set boosters. We are also going to have the sealed bundles for Kaldheim starting at $39.99 MSRP. And so bundles are your standard, they're your standard. I just need a single package filled with packs. I don't need anything crazy. I don't need anything extensive. I just need a whole bunch of packs and a box to put them in. And so that is pretty much what the bundles are going to appeal to, as the bundles have basically just a whole bunch of packs, a special die, and normally a alternate art card inside.
I honestly just like the boxes because they look nice and they're good for storage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then there's also going to be the pre-release kit singles. And so while we do have the package that we mentioned at the beginning of the video, the pre-release kits have the 5 or 6 boosters inside of them, a stamped pre-release foil. So on the date of pre-release, it'll have that date, on release, stamped into a foil card that'll be on the front. And then it'll also have the boosters and a D20 spin down inside. And then the booster draft displays, which are normally going to be $119 MSRP, for pre-release are going to be $109.99 MSRP for pre-release. And so you're saving $10, and if you use that Tower TV coupon code, you save an additional $5, because it's going to be awesome, and we'll recap on that at the end. And then for the last couple items, we do have pre-orders up for collector boosters displays. And so when we were talking about all of the alternate arts that you would see in the set, with like the Viking runes like etched into doorways and the Phyrexian Vorinclex.
Yeah, those are definitely where to pull them.
Yeah, those are what people are going to be looking for. The collector boosters have an increased chance of giving you those cards. And so that's pretty much what you'll be looking for. There's not as many boosters in it because there's only 12 booster packs, but every single card in that pack is either foil, alternate art, or extended art.
Yeah.
Every single card in those packs.
The collector packs are definitely where the value is now. A lot of the times before, people would avoid collector packs because they felt like they were spending too much and pulling too little. But I don't know if they like intentionally changed the like distribution of how they actually put cards into their collector packs, but they are stacked. They're stacked.
Core 2021. Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you see any Core 21 like collector packs, I would pick them up. They are so good. I bought two and I pulled $150 worth of cards out of two $25 packs. Granted, my experience isn't yours, but it could be.
It could be yours on towerofgames.com.
For pre-order.
Pre-order. Well, yeah, for Kaldheim. But again, to reiterate what we have for that Magic the Gathering sealed at-home pre-release package, it is selling for $100, and we have sold, we have sold over 100 single pre-release kits.
Wow.
At the time of recording, we have sold over 100 single pre-release kits, but we do have more available.
How many?
I don't have specific numbers on me at the moment.
I'm going to have to get some. I might do a... Never mind.
I might have to
get a
take-home Magic experience. But yeah, we are doing more of these orders, and so go ahead and place your orders while they are in stock. Well, not in stock, while they are available. And then inside this whole pack is going to be the prize support for it. So you'll get the 8 booster packs. Let's see, let's go and get the full details on towergames.com. Yep. So you get the 4 Kaldheim pre-release kits. You get the 8 Kaldheim draft boosters to make up for the prize support since we are not able to play in store. You also get 3 regular promo packs from recent sets. And to reiterate, pull up that Ikoria one. Like, we have promo packs for you guys. Please help us get rid of these.
It is a lot of
Send them
packs.
to you.
I mean, it's so many packs.
Yep. Like, think of all the Godzillas that could be in there.
True.
Think of all the Godzillas that could be in there.
You could get a Ghidorah.
You could get... Are Ghidorahs in those?
I think so, right?
I have no clue. Find out.
I'm gonna be honest. I was never cool enough to get an Ikoria promo pack.
Me neither. But yeah, those are available as well as the Kaldheim promos. And then there is also a single foil promo pack from a recent set. And so we are going to have those regular promos, but there are also foil promo packs from recent sets, normally set aside for first place in some of the tournaments that we do host in store. But all of that, $100, we will ship it to your doorstep. Like, just place the order, use that Tower TV coupon code to save $5 off on checkout, and we will send it straight to your door on release day.
And I believe it is free shipping in the States.
Oh, yeah. For over $50, I believe. For orders over $50, you get free shipping.
But for you people in Norway, you gotta pay shipping.
I mean, overseas, that's a whole different shenanigan.
Just Norway.
No, I love you guys in Norway. Do we have viewers in Norway? Comment if you're from Norway. I'm curious. But yeah, that is everything that we have available. And so to reiterate once again on the full details of that Tower TV coupon code, that is information for us here on camera and for behind the camera to let us know that you guys are enjoying what you are seeing and that you are looking for more content to keep coming to you guys. Because Tyler and I always have a blast when we're on camera. We're not always the most organized, but we try our best.
I'm not going to put you on blast.
I know! I'm in my final semester, okay? I'm trying. But yeah, we always enjoy bringing more content to you guys, and more is always going to be on the way. So leave a like, comment, go to our YouTube channel, and then subscribe as well for additional updates and more videos. Or stay tuned on Facebook, as all of our stuff will also be posted here whenever we do get the chance for it. And so on checkout for any of our stuff in store, if you're here for GW, we just got a huge Games Workshop restock today. If you like board games, I just had 10 copies of Sheriff of Nottingham come through. We have a whole bunch of jump starters, Kickstarters coming through every now and again. So feel free to peruse our website at towergames.com and just look through everything we have, guys. It's a lot.
We do have a lot.
It is.
There's a lot online that we don't have listed. That we don't actually have up here. They're two different things.
Yeah, because our warehouse has a different inventory.
So there are a lot of little miscellaneous goodies, different crazy games you could find there.
I've always loved that word, just miscellaneous. It's like, what are you doing today? Miscellaneous things. It's literally just a longer
And
word
on
for
that
random.
note, we'll catch you guys next time.
All right. We will see you guys next time.